Hello everyone, this is Lokesh Chaudhary of 8th semester from Computer Science Department, RYM Engineering College. This seminar is a brief introduction to version controlling using Git and its benefits to developers. We'll start with a brief introduction about version controlling, benefits, and how it evolved the software development lifecycle. We will understand a few basic jargons in Git like commit, pull, push, and merge. Then we'll end this seminar with a practical application on Git. So let's get started. Version controlling systems keeps track of every modification made to a code in a special kind of database called repositories. If ever a mistake is made, developers can turn back the clock and compare earlier versions of the code or revert the codebase to certain revisions to fix the issue. There exist many version controlling systems in the market. Git, Beanstalk, Perforce, and Apache Serve versions are few of them. Since Git is where many big names have put their money on, we would concentrate on exemplifying using Git. As a beginner, it is essential to know the difference between Git and GitHub. Git is a version controlling tool that developers install locally to manage source code, whereas GitHub is a cloud-based interface for developers to push or pull code changes. The marketing pitch for GitHub is a platform that allows developers across the globe to write and review code. But the real value for GitHub is more than that. It is more to GitHub than just collaboration. It helps in version controlling. In computer science, every new technology that is introduced boils down to two main things. Why does this thing exist? What problems does this thing solve? Once you break this down, it is easy to understand any new technology. Before VCS were ever introduced, a single person used to own the master version of the project. This person would only share the specific parts of the code developer needs to work on. A developer would return the finished code and finally everything was patched together before the old version was fully replaced by the new version. Unless someone actively made recurring copies of each release, there wasn't easy access to previous versions. By recurring copies, I mean storing a copy of whole project for each version. To copy each and every version depleted system memory. Let me explain this to you with a practical scenario. Let's say I'm coding a project. The project has three versions in it: version 1, version 2, and version 3. While I released my version 3, I realized that I introduced a serious bug in it and got to a point where I would rather dump my entire code file. You get into this type of scenarios more often than expected, but dumping the whole codebase is not an effective solution. Conversely, I can revert my codebase to a version without bugs in it using VCS. You can either compare the mess you created with the previous versions, or you can roll back to a version or any save point with no bugs in it. As a developer, the benefits that Git gives us are numerous, but we are concentrating on only three main benefits: traceability, backup, branching, and merging. Traceability. With VCS, we are able to trace each change made to the code base. One can easily comb through the code to check what, when, and where was a bug introduced when a catastrophic failure occurs. Backup. Version controller protects source code from both catastrophic and casual degradation of human errors and unintended consequences. One good old benefit of VCS is every team member has a version of project on their disk, including the project's complete history. In case where your beloved central servers break down, all you need for recovery is one of your teammates' local system. Lastly, and more importantly, branching and merging. Having team members work concurrently on different features of an application is kind of a no-brainer in software development. Branching and merging helps developers to perform this task with ease. Many software teams adopt a practice of branching for each feature or perhaps branching for each release or both. Let me show this to you with an example. Let's say my team is working on a project and we realized we need to add a new feature that may affect the existing project. So instead of tampering with the master code, the one which is in the blue color, I can simply add a new branch, the one which is in the green color, and push my new code changes to this new branch. And when I think everything works fine, I could merge the new feature branch with the master tip branch like this. One needs to better understand Git jargons to get a good grip of Git. Staging area and indexing. An intermediate place located in between working directory and local repository, where you can pick and choose which files inside your working directory you want to commit. Local repository. This resides inside the user's system and is not accessible by anyone without access to the user system. Remote repository, a common repository that anyone with access to the internet can access. Mostly such a repository is stored on a code hosting service like GitHub. Commit, a command used to save changes to the local repository. Branch, as I already explained, let's assume we have an application with two commits, commit 1 and commit 2. Now at this point, we may want to try out a new feature or maybe mess with our code. So what we can do is, instead of tampering from our master branch, we can create a new branch. We start committing to this new branch. If at some point in time we realize that the experiment we did turn out to be fruitful, we can merge these branches using merge request, push request. It is nothing but sending the code from the local repository to the remote repository. You can call this upload if you will. Pull, get code from a remote repository to the local machine. It is same as downloading the code. Fetch, Git gathers any commits from a target remote repository and stores them in a local repository. As opposed to pull request, it does not merge the changes. Merge, it integrates changes from one branch to the another. Let's say you have been working on a code base. Now suppose you will need to introduce a new feature. What you will do is create a new branch and work on code in that branch. When you realize that the new feature is done and ready to be rolled out, you can merge the branch to the master branch. Now let's look into a practical application of Git. As part of this, we'll be coding a simple calculator app using C. These commands are the commands we'll be using in our project. So let's get started. Firstly, we need to create a project folder. Let's name this Calci app. And then we need to create a local repository. Git init command is used to create present working directory as a local repository. Once git init command is successful, it creates a .git folder in your project directory. When a folder is prefixed with dot, it is a hidden file in Windows. So to view a hidden file, you need to go to Options, View, and Show Hidden Files, then press OK. See, you can see a .git file. The .git file contains all the information that is necessary for your project in version controlling, and all the information about commits, remote repository address, etc. It all contains a log that stores your commit history so that you can roll back to a previous change whenever necessary. Now, let's create a file main.c that contains the logic. So cut to the chase, this is our main.c file. This file simply take two input operands and an operator. Then based on the operator, it performs a calculation and outputs the result until the user enters 0. The next step in the Git workflow is git add command. Let's look into git add. So git add command is used to add stage files to the staging area. So we do git add main.c. Now the main.c file is added to staging area. To confirm that, you could do git status. See, the file in the green color is added to staging area. Now you see we have a serious problem in our code. Sprinkling the logic throughout the file is not a good coding practice and compromises the law of reusability. So let's create separate files for each of the functionality like add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But first, let's commit these changes. So if a catastrophic failure occurs or we messed up with our code, we could roll back to this version at any time. To commit, we use git commit -m and a commit message. This commit message can be whatever we want. The -m option specifies the message. Now when you do a git log on this file, we see the list of recent commits made. You can see that this commit was made by this person. The hash uniquely identifies each commit, and then here's our commit message, and this is the date and time the commit was made. As part of adding reusability to our code, we created 4 more new files: add.c, divide.c, multiply.c, and subtract.c. Simply put, add.c takes two parameters and returns the sum of this. Divide.c returns division between these two. Multiply.c multiplies these two parameters. Subtract.c returns the difference between these two parameters. And to see the difference between the previous version and the current version, we have a command git def. The result of git def main.c is a bunch of lines in green and red color. The green lines are the added lines and the red lines are the removed lines. See, the red line which is indicated here is removed and replaced by the green line which is here. Now if you do a git status, you can see these files are not yet tracked. So to add them to the staging area, you can do git add main.c, add.c, divide.c, multiply.c, and subtract.c. As a developer basic instinct, you may feel that there must be a better way of doing this. Turns out there exists a better way using git add dot. Dot tells Git to add all the files in the present working directory to the staging area. Now let's do git status. The files shown in the green color are all added to staging area. Now if you do git commit -m refactored code, the commit message I choose is refactored code because we have done some refactoring. So I'll click on enter. Now when I do git log, see, here's my commit. This is the hash that uniquely identifies my commit and made by this person on this time. Now, if you look into the logic for the divide, you may notice that you could get yourself into a serious trouble if you submit this file to testing. Because if a user enters 0 in the denominator, it could lead to undefined behavior of the code. Here, I would need to modify the code without affecting the original file. I can do so using branches. You can create a new branch using git branch followed by branch name. Since I am testing the divide feature, we can call this branch divide test. Now a branch is created. We can confirm that using git branch command. We have two branches, divide test and master. The master branch is by default created by git. Branch which is in green color is the branch which we are currently in. I can switch between branches using git checkout. Git checkout divide test. I can again confirm using git branch. See, the divide test branch is in green color, which specifies I am on divide test currently. This is the revised logic for divide function. Basically, this takes two parameters, numerator and denominator. If the denominator is 0, it returns a -1. Else, it returns numerator divided by denominator. Now, let's commit these changes. To commit, we need to first do git add dot. Dot represent add all the files in the present working directory to staging area. Now, let's do git commit. So, my commit message is revised divide.c logic. Your commit message can be whatever you want, and then I'll press on enter. Now if I do git log, this is my commit revised divide.c logic, and this is my hash of the commit. Although you modified your code on the divide test branch, when you check out to your master branch using git check out master, your code changes are not visible in the master branch. See, the code changes from the divide.c are not intact to the code changes in the master branch. This makes the lives of developer a lot easier by holding a pure abstraction among branches. Let's head back to our divide test branch. Now that we know our new divide test feature is working properly, we need to merge it with our master branch. To merge it with our master branch, first we need to check out to our master branch. Git checkout master, enter. Now to confirm that we are in our master branch, we'll do git branch. Yes, we are on our master branch. To merge these changes, we'll do git merge followed by branch name. Our branch name is divide test. As next step of our project, we'll be pushing our codebase onto a remote repository. But you need to have a GitHub account to carry out this step. Once you create your GitHub account, all you need to do is click the shiny button. Then give your repository a name. I'll call this Calci app. Then create repository. All you need to do is just copy this URL and paste it in your command prompt. This will create a link to your remote repository identified by the name origin. Instead of origin, you can give whatever name you want. This is just an identifier. Then to push the code changes, you will use the command git push -u origin master. Then press enter. Now when you head back to the your repository and click on control refresh, your codebase is pushed onto remote repository. To check all the activity you made on your codebase, you can head on to insights and then network. This is the best part about GitHub. You can visualize all the activity you have done on your codebase. The uh, the line in the black color is our master branch, and the line in our blue color is our experimental branch, which is nothing but divide test branch. These dots are the series of commits we made. This is the initial commit, then we have refactored code, then we revised our division.c logic, then we merged our master branch with the divide test branch. Now that you know how easy it is to launch a code base, you can push your future projects onto GitHub very easily with just a basic 6 commands. Now let's end this seminar. In this seminar, we have looked into version controlling and its benefits to developers. Then we had ourselves clear with a few basic Git jargons. We experienced with various Git features like commits, logs, committing, branching, merge, push, and origin branches. Then we launched our codebase onto GitHub. Thank you.